This is Tin Plated. I'm Rob.
I'm Sean. This is Tin Plated Talks, episode 21.
21.
We can drink in America now.
That's right.
Which, just gotta say, that is a little silly. What? We really need to bring that down to 18.
Why?
Well, you can get drafted at 18. Pretty much every other country that doesn't have...
I'd like to point out that old argument about how you can go to war but you can't drink is factually inaccurate. A bar is not allowed to refuse a service member in uniform by federal law.
In uniform?
Yeah.
But there's also regulations about what you can and can't do in uniform.
On-base bars. Or go to the PX and buy a bottle of liquor.
Still have those problems. But secondly, pretty much every other civilized nation in the world that doesn't have uber restrictive and typically religiously motivated drinking restrictions has the age at 18. We're weird.
I find 21 to be okay.
It also doesn't help anything. Plus, it would lower the competition once you get past freshman year of college.
How do you reckon that?
There'd be even less reason to not drink heavily in your freshman year. Blow a few people out. I'm okay with that. Make the degree I'm getting worth more because there are fewer of them. Anyway, on to the questions, which... Jesus, guys. On the one hand, thank you.
Is this y'all's job?
Thank you, but wow. Fuck.
What I like is, we have our same guys every week, which is good. They're what keep us going. But also, if to our folks who've never asked a question, feel free.
Yeah.
Around more than 100, between 1 and 200 people will watch this in 2 days' time. Of those people who I'm now addressing, if you've never asked a question, why not?
It doesn't have to be anything big or thorough. It can just be a simple curiosity thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into the idiosyncrasies of, say, the fall of the Roman Empire.
Spoiler alert.
But without further ado, NDDC asks, imagine you're the protagonist of a harem comedy anime. Your task is to pick the people for your harem. Who do you choose? Max 10, no less than 2 or 3, and I'm restricted from Love Hina. But I wouldn't pick anyone from Love Hina anyway. Naru is spoken for. That would be rude.
I don't watch those harem animes because I think they're vile and retarded.
Not even Tenchi Muyo? Tenchi Muyo was really good.
I watched it, and then when I realized what was going on, I was like, this is kind of sad, isn't it?
You want to see sad? Watch Golden Boy.
Thank you, no.
Nah, it's only 3 episodes. Well, maybe 4.
But, I mean, so what? You're telling me 10 women to fight over my affection?
Mm. See, I think the key to this is going to be approach it not for your own interest, but from what would make amusing scenarios.
Well, in that case, you really are... The obvious choices are eliminated because there are certain women who are above the herd. And if you're dealing with a literal herd, you can't pick the ones that are head and shoulders above everyone else. Everybody has to have redeeming and negative qualities that put them at about the same, but then your personal taste or what take over. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my choices are just thrown out the window.
Well, the other thing you could do is just, if everybody's head and shoulders above the crowd, then that just raises the base level of this particular group. I mean, if you choose only the top 0.5%, then, well, there's still that whole group there.
Well, all right.
I think the key is, if you want to, fit the tropes, you've got to have the... You've got to have sort of the manic pixie dream girl kind of thing. The flighty chick who's nevertheless interesting and fun, but really just not stable enough. And that's her big drawback. I think that's one of the tropes you're going to need.
Okay, let me see if I can think of a girl that fits that.
Other than literally anybody Zooey Deschanel has ever played. Ever.
Yeah, but see, I don't like her characters.
Ever.
I want to choke them.
Yes, that's typically...
I have never struck a woman, but Zooey Deschanel makes a strong argument for it.
She's got nice eyes, though. But her sister Emily has the same eyes, and isn't nearly as
Right.
annoying in interviews.
Right.
And I like Bones better than, what was it, The New Girl or Boys
The
or whatever
New
the hell
Girl.
she was in.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Let me think. Flighty.
My thought on this would be leaning towards
Flighty.
gosh, what was the name?
Okay, how about this? I think. What about Claire from Heroes?
No, she's much more traditional and down to earth than you might otherwise think. Claire was the cheerleader, right?
Yeah, the one that was continually trying to commit suicide because she couldn't die.
Yeah.
I would call trying to off yourself flighty.
That's not flighty, especially when you've figured out that you're immortal. That's just experimenting.
Yeah, but
That said, I guess she'd make a good addition. You can put her in there, and she'd be the powerful one with the sort of uncertainty going on, and she'd have the best character arc probably, and she'd end up being the one that the writers would choose. The shippers would be furious.
and not for nothing, Hayden Panettiere is a dime piece.
She's a very, very pretty lady. But hell, I'd say just pick any old manic pixie dream girl. Just pick the trope itself and throw it in there, because that'd give you that thing without you having to commit to any particular
I just
individual.
can't think of a lot of manic pixie dream girls.
Well, they tend to be. That sort of thing got pulled out as far as Hollywood use went real fast, because it burned out real fast because people were like, holy shit, this is obnoxious. Think any movie where the guy has a normal humdrum life and this girl sort of swoops in and changes everything and leads him into wacky craziness.
Juno?
Little bit. A little more Ramona Flowers, actually. I think
There it is.
I think that's what I'll go with. Ramona Flowers.
Flowers, yes.
So that
would be my choice too.
So we've got Claire, we've got Ramona Flowers.
Yeah.
I think we need
And obviously we have to choose fictional characters because real people, not being one-dimensional characters, wouldn't work.
yeah. I think we need someone more reserved now. So just to round it out, and I think that's a good trio.
Reserved.
You know, a sort of reserved, sort of scholarly,
Right,
more.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, someone more introspective, someone to bring the energy down, give it a center.
A character that's been played by Charlize Theron.
Did you have any particular character in mind?
I did not, but Charlize Theron kind of gives off that quiet sophistication. Or
How about Precious?
fuck you. Ugh.
You don't want Precious?
I don't want Precious. Hermione Granger.
Good choice to put in the group. I wouldn't object that. She can go in there, but I'm thinking about someone much more shy.
Much
to
more
round it out.
shy.
Yeah.
See, again, it's not something that you find in a lot of Western entertainment. A
Pull
shy
something-
character.
Well, we're looking at an anime trope anyway, so there's got to be someone shy from an anime.
I mean, there's
Stands out.
Hinata from Naruto. She is the living embodiment
Yeah.
of shy. Hell,
Yeah, Hinata's perfect.
She's so shy, her fucking eyes are white.
She's also my favorite of the characters from Naruto.
Oh, no doubt, because that gentle fist of hers,
Yeah.
that is some rockin' shit.
But yeah, let's put Hinata in there. So we've got
Okay.
Hinata, Claire, I've already forgotten.
Hinata, Claire, Ramona Flowers, and Hermione Granger.
And Hermione Granger's. There you go. That's a good choice. Second question. Jesus, 10 minutes on one. If you could nuke any city without any consequences for yourself or the world, like radiation circling the globe, which would you nuke? If you pick a city in the U.S., you're allowed an additional foreign cities, because I feel Rob's going to pick a city in California. I'm not picking any. There's no city that I hate enough to murder everyone who lives there. There's lots of individual people I would murder, given, the freedom from law and consequence, but there's no city that I would just demolish. I guess it'd be funny to nuke Chernobyl, just to double fuck it. Oh, what do you mean? It's going to be able to be almost inhabitable within 10-mile radius in 50 years? Nope! Be kind of funny, just for pettiness. So Rob is
Seattle and Beijing.
Seattle. Why Seattle?
Fucking hipsters.
That would be Portland.
Portland.
Yeah, if you want to.
Beijing.
Why Beijing?
I don't want to say.
Not Shanghai and help with the pollution problem?
No.
Did you know that most of the pollution on the west coast of the United States is from China?
Yes, I did.
It's clean over the Pacific.
One of the reasons I've made my choice.
All right, then. Not or GDI,
Burn
Soviets
Beijing
are...
in its holes.
Not or GDI, Soviets are allies. This is a Command & Conquer related question. I didn't play Command & Conquer.
Well, here's the thing. Soviets is a good choice for the Yuri, but in any Command & Conquer tournament that I've ever seen, Yuris aren't allowed. So, allies.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
Loved Command & Conquer. This is my shit.
Not a fan of RTSs. I liked the Warcraft games. Never really liked
Warcraft
StarCraft.
was solid.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into StarCraft. By the time I got into it, the Koreans had done took it over.
Yeah. Stop touching me!
Yeah. If you could have one person from a video...
We're moving to a different asker.
101 Terror Fiends. If you could have one person from a video game cook all your meals, who would it be?
Cooking Mama.
Damn, I had an answer for this and I forgot. Didn't I say it earlier? Who did I say?
Yeah, you said you had one, but you didn't tell me.
Right. Sanji from the One Piece video game.
That's a nice loophole to get someone from another piece of media. It's cunning.
Thank you. Sanji, the professional cook.
Terror Fiends also asks, most useless or weirdest power-up you've found in a game?
Most power-ups, by and large, either A, are just generally useful, or B, have one very, very specific purpose, which is the reason that they bothered to code it in the first place. But
weird, however, still a very...
I will say that
option.
As far as useless, the green shell in Mario Kart.
I could make work with it. You
can make the green shell work if it's all you've got. But if I offered you one green shell or one red shell...
Well, duh.
Obviously, there are so many better alternatives than the green, there's no reason to choose it.
Yeah, if you get the green shell, you're going to go, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. The green shell has been made useless by all the other, shells.
I think I'm going with, in Banjo-Tooie, there is a way to turn Kazooie from the weird chickeny bird thing that she is to a little green dragon.
I thought she was a pterodactyl.
I thought it was a dragon.
But I know the one you mean, yeah.
But yeah, she goes from bird to little dragony pterodactyl-y thing. It's a little weird, and as far as I recall, it didn't do anything.
Here's a power-up for you. In one of the Souls games, there's a ring that lets you always look like you're in human form.
Oh, fuck that. There's a worse one.
The one that lets you glow white?
No, that too. The Calamity Ring. The one that you get from fighting Calamite. The one that makes every hit against you cause extra damage.
Yeah. Imagine
What
that.
the fuck?
When you're looking for useless bullshit, you have to go to a Souls game.
If you want the game to be hard and kill you in one hit, do a Soul Level 1 playthrough. That's how people do it. I don't think anybody has ever used the Calamity Ring for anything. Because if you're doing a low Soul Level playthrough, you're going to die in a single hit anyway, so whatever.
Bocephus wants to know if you're able to take possession of one infinity gem and are able to use it to its fullest, which would it be and what would you do with said power? He also wants to remind us that the other infinity gems will get doled out to other folk.
And we can't have the gauntlet, which says one gem, so obvo. I'm torn between two. Time and mind.
Interesting. Now, obviously, we've seen the Mind Gem in action there in the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's Loki's staff. I'm actually torn between time and reality.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if I did Mind, I think I'd try to be pretty low-key about it, at least for a little while. Low-key. Mind Gem.
Oh, what's that? You ripped off the American Gods joke. Thanks.
I'd start practicing first.
Also, spoiler for American Gods there.
Like I'd use it to cheat at poker to get the hang of it to start with. Mastering the subtle, pulling things out of the mind, knowing what cards they got, going like that. And then from there, I think I'd start reaching out and trying to find out what changes are getting ready to be made by big companies. Like, I'll just pop into the CEO of Boeing and see if they got anything they're about to announce. And, oh, I guess I'll buy some Boeing stock and sell it 3 days later. And just work my way around that. And then also check occasionally if if any particular legal entity is concerned about my investment looking a little bit insidery.
See, with the reality one, it's what's that? I control the fabric of existence? Okay.
Yeah. That one seemed almost too much to me.
You know what? If we're being honest, in a world where the reality gem's a thing...
Yeah.
I mean, I get that the other gems are outside its influence. So, like, if you had the time gem or the mind gem, I couldn't make you not exist or make your gem disappear. You exist no matter what I do.
Yeah.
Except if I make your personal reality nothing but fucking lava. I mean, you know, it's the fabric of existence is a pretty tough fucking power.
And the time gem I'd use basically for, like, save points and checkpoints and saves coming reality.
Exactly, yeah, right. And which is what you do. But I'd also like to point out, I'm not a Marvel guy, I'm DC. So we get so many Marvel questions.
Well, we got a lot of DC questions.
Not lately.
It's a pendulum, man. Speaking of Marvel questions, which side of the Civil War would you side with? Pro-registration with Stark or anti with Captain America?
That Civil War.
And would having a superpower change your decision? Superpower would not change my decision.
I'd be with Captain America.
Yeah. I'd be with Captain America.
Because the presence or lack of ability doesn't take away civil rights. You know, I'm taller than Sean. I have the ability to reach things he cannot. That doesn't mean I should lose my civil rights. But even in the comics, especially as far as they took it, they went after Black Panther and Storm. And
they're not even American.
Yeah, we're not fucking citizens, and Black Panther has diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. I'd be anti-registration for those reasons and one more. The villains, save for the ones that signed on to hunt down heroes with the full benefit of the law, which was a fucked up choice, villains aren't going to register. Heroes registering just sort of ties their hands. And I get the whole, oh, but they'd get training and everything. Yeah, but that's not really what was pushing it. It was fear. It was fear of these powers, and the people who were doing the most damage with them wouldn't register anyway.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same argument people use for guns.
Yeah.
If you make guns illegal, only people who are perfectly willing to break the law will still have them.
In a country where where that ban was in place before the handgun was really a thing beyond a single action 5-round, no such thing as a speed loader world, then maybe it'd be hard enough for a criminal to get a hold of a gun that you have some sort of case there. America has so many guns now that if we tried to ban them wholesale, it just wouldn't happen.
Full disclosure, I am a gun owner, so... But.
Yeah, I've never fired a gun, ever. I've never even touched an actual firearm. I think it's part of America for weal or for woe, and it's just what it is.
But yeah, with the Civil War, it's... First off, if you give me the choice between Tony Stark and Captain America, unless the question is
whose bank account do you want?
Or who we partying with this weekend?
Yeah.
On questions of morality and civil rights, when you stand across from Captain America, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You have not made the correct decision when Captain America's going, nah, guys, this isn't right.
All right, let's take a step back over into Rob's wheelhouse. If the Huns had not marched into Ostrogoth territory, pushing them deep into Visigoth territory, and both of them ultimately being forced to sack a great portion of Roman land, how much longer do you think the Roman Empire would have lasted? Also, what would have needed to occur to help sustain the Roman Empire for a great deal longer, possibly as long as the Byzantine Empire did? Now,
Sean, before I answer
a quibbly thing.
Uh-huh.
The Byzantine Empire is a Roman Empire.
No.
Yes.
No.
It is the Eastern Roman Empire.
No.
With
no,
a new name.
After the schism.
And then they got purple.
No.
Purple.
No. That's like saying America is just a continuation of the British Empire. We are so manifestly different as that it is no longer reasonable.
God save the Queen.
A mule is not a donkey sort of thing, but
A hinny is a mule in reverse.
yes, it is. First off, either Bocephus is pursuing higher education in history, not unlike I did, or spent a lot of time on Google figuring this one out.
Or it might just be something he was into. Like he may read historical fiction like you do and just have read one about Rome.
It's possible. When you're asking, here's the thing. At the point in time where you're talking about the Ostrogoths and the Visigoth influence on the fall of Rome.
And Hot Topic.
Yes, thank you.
God?
It's deck chairs on the Titanic. Rome was fucked before the Goths showed up. Pushing them in didn't help, but not having them there we wouldn't have seen the resurgence. Like Rome was getting its second wind, then all of a sudden got slapped down. That's not the case. So, when you say if they hadn't been pushed in, how much longer would it have lasted? 100 years? Maybe. Only because, frankly, development and... I mean, I know this is not technically accurate except on, like, the macro or the microest micro level, but it seems like time used to move slower. You know? You could have an empire last 1,000 years because everything just took longer.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
So... 100 years, maybe, without too much trouble. Now, if you're asking me, how would I have kept Rome going as long as, say, the Byzantines or... Well, first off, I'd like to point out Rome, the city, still exists.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church, which became the predominant faith under Constantine, a Roman emperor, still has sovereignty in the Vatican. So if you wanted to get really dickish about it, you could say the Roman Empire... in some form or fashion, lingers on. But I'm not. What I'm going to say is we would have needed to start way earlier in Roman history. Rome was not set up for a lot of technological development and change. They were set to always be the big dogs, and everybody's going to fight our way, and our way is the best.
All right.
And the minute you bring innovation in that they aren't ready for, they start to get their shit pushed in. Luckily, they're always... more Romans was how it worked for a long time.
The Russian strategy.
In a way. I mean, remember, Tsar is just...
Caesar.
Exactly. But I would think we would need to retool the Roman Empire, decentralize it, first off. Yes, Rome is the seat of power. But Caesar is not the god king of this operation. That's not efficient. When you're dealing with something so technologically inefficient as their form of communication, you cannot centralize government on an empire that size.
You need strong vassals.
Yes. When the provinces have a problem and they have to fall back to Rome, 9 months later when Rome shows up, what's the point?
Yeah.
So decentralize it. Let it work a little bit more freely with its neighbors, less brutal conquest. And I think you could have seen Rome last. But when you burn that hot and that bright, you burn out.
All right. Scientific experiment goes awry and you are dropped into medieval Europe with your knowledge of history and a tool that can relay precisely the details of any event you are in or near. How do you go about living the rest of your life? Now, I'm a little unclear on what this tool is. Are we basically wikiing the event?
I like to think it would just be like my iPad.
Well, what about your iPad?
Well, my iPad
Other
and
than being filthy.
I've got a database of shit on it where I can go, all right, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing, what's going on. Oh, no shit.
Well, I think problem number one is I don't speak Latin, which is the only currently existing language that there was back then. At least as far as Europe goes. I don't know how much, say, Mandarin and Cantonese have changed over the years, but I think Sanskrit's still pretty consistent. That's just a writing system, but...
All right, but...
So it'd be start learning the language. Hopefully I'm somewhere in England so I can just step back from modern English to Middle English, which is rough, but at least you can try. The fact that I'm able to read will help. That's a very, very, very powerful thing to have.
Yes, you
in that
can
time
read
and era.
modern English.
Yes, but then as I can learn the language, I've read the opening bit of the Canterbury Tales, which is not Middle English. It's
Right, the English is based on the Canterbury
Middle
Tales. You're
English.
going way further back.
Yeah, I know, but so you can ease your way back there, and I can still see the letters and make the sounds from them. Because remember, pretty much all languages were written phonetically back then.
Yeah,
So I have that to at least help once I cover the hurdle of learning language. And Latin I do know a little bit of, and a little bit of its pronunciation, so I'd probably start there, where most of the written text is anyway. That'd help me probably weasel my way into the clergy, which is where all the power was for non-nobles back then, and I would pretend to be Catholic.
You know what's funny is that is my precise answer. Only rather
Get into the clergy?
I would do very simple. I would walk to the nearest monastery. I would communicate to them non-verbally that I am mute and that I wish to serve our Lord Jesus by creating illuminated texts for 15 hours a day, every day, for the rest of my life. Now, if I could get in with one of those monasteries, what made the beer, so much the better. If not, if I'm at one of those monasteries, what drinks the beer? That's fine too. But yeah, all I have to do is say either A, I'm mute, or B, I've taken a vow of silence. Communicate make the sign of the cross, point to my mouth, and go, nope. And they realize that I am either mute or taking a vow. Now,
I think I'd try to pass myself off as some sort of shipwreck from a distant land and just don't speak the language.
Which is fine, but the problem there is your initial flailing and weird tongues could get you set on fire. A mute or a devout holy man who's a vow of silence would not be a problem for them.
But what I could do is walk up to them and go, in nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. That's enough for them to be like, a good Christian man.
Maybe, unless they think it's a demon.
By medieval thought, demons could not say. I used to know the entire Lord's Prayer in Latin, and a demon can't recite the Lord's Prayer.
That would work.
Which hopefully my little thingy could give me the Lord's Prayer in Latin, and I could just memorize it.
That's the other thing. If this thing can
good.
tell me every historic event that I'm seeing, I'm hoping it's got a language app. But if it doesn't, again, I'd pass myself off as mute.
I'd pick the best monastery to go to, that's for sure.
Damn right, the one's making the beer. And
Maybe one that's getting ready to get working on building the cathedral. Yeah, there's some money and power there.
Exactly, but I'd just be a mute, and I'd make the beer.
I got my eyes on one of those red cassocks.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Now, the banter guy, what would be your dream woman? So what does she look like? Personality traits, proportions? It's Kate Upton.
My wife is in the house. You really think I'm going to answer this?
The answer is Kate Upton. Moving on. If you were to be remembered for 1,000 years, what phrase or quote would you want everyone to remember you for? See, I don't think that's something that you can answer. It's like giving yourself a nickname.
Yeah.
What do you think your best quote ever is?
Here's what I want to be remembered for 1,000 years. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Tin Plated. Right. I want this to be the crowning achievement of all YouTube. Not going to happen.
Who knows?
Millennium? A millennium? We win? We win out over PewDiePie's shrieking ass?
What if our young fan Philip there in the UK, what if Philip, with all of his young potential, goes on to become, I don't know, the fucking Prime Minister? And right. What if, in a future interview, they say, Mr. Prime Minister, in your formative years, any inspirations? And he goes, there was this one American YouTube channel I was fans of.
I don't see a politician ever admitting to watching this channel, let alone liking it.
See, British politicians don't do the same sort of bullshit pandering that ours do. They have much more plain-spoken guys. So, yeah. Hell, man, some of their MPs have openly called for, some crazy shit, backing apartheid, condemning Israel, talking about how blacks aren't allowed in England. And I mean this fucking year.
Parliament's a weird place.
Yeah, so no.
All right.
Young Philip, the backs of our viewers are what shall carry us into the future.
If you could have one
so y'all better get to hard work and become important.
If you could have one fighting style beamed into your mind, technique, stance, attack, and defense move, what kind would you choose?
Now, when you say fighting style, do you mean any means whereby one man may kill another? Because if so, I want to become the finest sniper.
I think that's acceptable.
Like, I'm talking about...
But he's saying, oh, damn it, Cat.
The guys who are making the 1-mile shots on iron sights.
But he is saying stuff like technique, stance, attack, and defense moves.
I guarantee you there's technique, body positions.
Not a lot of defensive moves in sniping other than laying down.
Camouflage. The ability to camouflage yourself and find a place to set up is a defensive tactic. So I would say sniping.
I will go with Japanese, not Brazilian, jiu-jitsu. It's a fighting style that's very good at defending against people coming at you with either weapons or bare hands, throwing them, channeling their weight against them. It's good against people who are bigger than me and stronger than me.
Like everyone?
And unlike some of the more efficient fighting styles, like, say, Krav Maga, Sambo, etc., I'm not likely to kill someone and have to go to court and prove self-defense. It's throw this guy, run. Which the best way to get out of a fight is to leave the fight.
I had a trivia coach that used to like to tell a story about a congressman, like 80 fucking years old, walking down the street, and a young guy jumps out and tries to mug him. The young guy wakes up in the hospital, a bunch of broken bones, because that particular congressman happened to be a former world champion jiu-jitsu fighter.
Jiu-jitsu is nothing to fuck around with. The Brazilian form has turned a lot to put person on ground, punch in face, which is plenty effective, but I prefer the Japanese form.
All right, so the banter guy, in his opinion, thinks Lord of the Rings and its material are one of, if not the best fantasy worlds of all time. Which character would we choose to be? Now, I want to address this. You're wrong. Lord of the Rings is crap. Here's the deal. It's written by a linguist, not a writer. The books are garbage. If you approach them from any sort of literary stance and observe them on objective qualities as a piece of fiction, they are shit. Tolkien's biggest problem is he tells and doesn't show. It's show, don't tell. Exposition is his fucking bread and butter.
Yeah.
How many times does Gandalf pop up after being missing for a while and goes, there was this great battle, and let me tell you about it, now we're moving on. Well, that's shit writing, because he wasn't a writer.
Fuck the writing and base it off the films, then.
Off the films?
Sure.
I mean, Ranagast seems to have a pretty good setup.
Well,
with his sled pulled by bunnies.
Well, I'm torn between two. One is the bullshit option of Gandalf the White, and the other is the other bullshit option of Tom Bombadil, both of whom are essentially gods.
Tom Bombadil, it's hinted, may actually be the... Because remember, Tolkien, along with being a hack writer, but a talented linguist, that's the thing. All he wanted was a method to serve you his complex languages. Hated the fact that a lot of his fans were these nature worshippers. Mm-hmm. That's why he wrote the Silmarillion, or the Book of Genesis, is basically what it is. And there's strong hints that Tom Bombadil's character is the Holy Spirit.
The assertion that Lord of the Rings is a metaphor for any sort of Christian or biblical concepts has been firmly refuted by Tolkien himself. It is not so. He did not write it to be allegorical.
Take that up with the fact that the Silmarillion is basically Genesis.
Any origin story of a world is Genesis. That's what the word Genesis means.
It's really hard to... Even if it's not... even if he didn't do it to copy the Bible, he's too influenced by it. He was a huge... him and T.S. Eliot were big friends.
Okay. It's not allegory, though.
I didn't say it was allegory. He was simply trying to get away from... it's not allegory in the way that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is, where this character is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's so heavily inspired by because he was frustrated by his fans being nature worshippers. It's like, you should be good Catholics.
Meh. Thought he was Anglican.
My understanding was Catholic, but...
Well, no wonder he was a little frustrated. Catholic living in Britain.
Yeah.
Which of these TV shows do you think is better, Doctor Who or Star Trek? Which Star Trek? Are we talking about just the original series? In that case, I'm saying Doctor Who. Again,
well, then which
Doctor
Who?
Who? Which series? You talking about New Who, Classic Who, just one particular Doctor incarnation? I'll say that my favorite stretch of Doctor Who was either Baker or Tennant. I can't really decide. It depends on whether I'm in a more sedate mood or a more energetic mood. And as far as Star Trek, the best there is Deep Space Nine. If I compare the best of both, then I'm going with Deep Space Nine. But if I take the series as a whole, I'm going with Doctor Who. Because Star Trek had a lot of weak moments. A lot.
I've never watched Doctor Who. Not one episode. I've watched a grand total of 4 episodes of Star Trek in my entire life. And just because of the episode City on the Edge of Tomorrow, Star Trek wins.
It's a good episode. Damn fine episode.
My understanding, it is considered the best episode of Star Trek.
Often considered as such.
So,
what would be your dream 3-course meal?
I'm only getting 3 courses.
Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. No. Huh. Now 3-course meal, that's appetizer, entree, dessert?
Yes.
Okay. Appetizer, Now,
but here's the other question. Because, let's say, for example, I said cheese sticks.
Yeah?
I don't mean the, cheese sticks you get at, Applebee's. I mean cheese sticks crafted with the finest ingredients on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
By the finest cooks, specifically to my taste.
I think that's very fair to say that we're assuming it's the best of the best of whatever food
right.
you choose.
So, if I was to say hamburger, I don't mean a McDonald's burger. I mean the universal concept of a burger laid before me.
I think for the appetizer, I would want cheese sticks now that you mention it. Maybe some white cheddar curd. Maybe mozzarella. I'm not sure, but some sort of cheese stick.
For my appetizer,
Is it going to be fried?
I'm thinking fried mushrooms.
Fried mushrooms. All right. I'm not a fan of mushrooms, but a fried mushroom isn't bad. All right. Entree.
Our palate is so fucking pedestrian.
Yeah. But for the entree, I would like a prosciutto wrapped filet mignon. And if I get to add side dishes, which I presume, I would like some garlic mashed potatoes. The skins had better be left on, God damn it. And some nice butter sautéed asparagus.
See, and here's where I'm struggling, because I do just want to say cheeseburger, and have served before me the greatest cheeseburger ever.
I think that's perfectly fair.
The kind of cheeseburger that I will never eat another one after that, because why?
They've just been ruined forever.
Yeah, it's everything else you've set before me is shit compared to this. So yeah, I'm gonna go with cheeseburger. And whatever, the universe projects as perfection that would entail. For sides, I guess I'd want French onion soup and spinach.
Spinach?
Yes.
Gotta have a little bit of fries if you're eating a burger, though.
Well,
you gotta have some fries.
Presumably.
For dessert, I think I'm gonna.
I like lots of sides. I have a big appetite.
I want one of those. I want a big, soft, nice, chewy chocolate chip cookie. Fudge over that, and then over the top of it, I want a lot of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Which is interesting, because I'm not generally a big fan of chocolate, but that sounds good. Now I'm hungry. Fuck you, banner guy.
Yeah, right? After this, can we get dinner?
Yeah, I think let's do that.
Cool. I want a milkshake.
Milkshake. Vanilla flavored, chocolate?
No. Again.
You gotta at least pick a flavor of a milkshake. You can't just say milkshake.
The reason... Okay, you remember that SPC?
SCP, you
SCP
mean?
that was the drink
machine that gives you whatever you want?
And the guy... It's a drink machine. Whenever a thing you ask for, it gives it to you in liquid form. And the guy asks it for his favorite drink. That's all he says. And it produces for him this, like, lime green liquid that he drinks and is so good 3 days later he kills himself. He didn't have to say to it, I want this. He said, I want my favorite. What if my favorite flavor of milkshake, the one that will be the greatest I've ever tasted, I've never had?
I think that's a cop-out.
Why?
I just do.
Fine. Then I want a chocolate milkshake.
All right.
But I'm willing to let whatever, is producing my dream meal tell me.
You'll let the chef make the call?
Yeah.
All right. If you could witness 3 history-defining battles in their entirety, which 3 would you choose? I definitely want Gettysburg, Battle of Hastings, and I was going to say Thermopylae, just so that when I get back, I can be all hipster about the movie 300.
But you can do that anyway. It's a fucking joke of a movie.
Yeah, but to say, oh, I like the actual battle. I was there in the preceding force. Xerxes wasn't really that tall at all.
Or that homoerotic. But okay, so what's your real third choice?
I'm thinking that I'd like to just see... Does this count as a battle? The sacking of Rome.
Which one? Sacked a lot.
Any.
Everybody sacked
I
the
don't really
motherfucker.
care. I just want to see Rome get sacked.
I would prefer you pick one. I mean, at one point, the Vikings sacked it.
How about the second burning of the Library of Alexandria, then?
Yes.
If I got to be specific.
Perfectly acceptable.
All right.
God, that'd be heartbreaking.
It says witness, or I'd be in there like, no!
You just walk in with a gun. Get away, you bastards! 3 battles. Now,
Well, what do you think, Gettysburg or Antietam?
Man, I couldn't watch Antietam. It'd break my fucking heart.
So what are your 3 then?
And not for the reason you're thinking, man. That's a lot of human life down the fucking drain.
They both are.
Antietam's the bloodiest single day in American history. Up until... No, we didn't lose that many in D-Day. God.
I've seen so many movies about D-Day, I've pretty much seen D-Day.
There's a British historian whose work I really like, and because it's late, now all I can think about is hamburgers. I can't remember. It's called The Face of Battle is a book that he wrote, and he cites various battles, and he says the tactics and the soldier and how everything evolved. And man, I mean, there's so many good ones. The Somme, Verdun.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Agincourt. But I guess for me, I have to see Stalingrad.
Yeah, I figured you would.
That was my senior thesis. I need it. Although Kursk wouldn't be bad either. The single largest battle in human history. It was larger than most wars preceding it.
It's true.
But Kursk wasn't where I put in that much effort. Stalingrad was. Hastings, because I would try to pick out my 2 ancestors that were present.
What would you do if you got there, found them, and the reason they survived was because they hid in a bush?
Tell my dad he was right all these years. My dad read Game of Thrones and said if our family had a sigil, it'd be a broken beer bottle. And the words, he who runs today will live to run another day. The thing is, we are not fast. Unless you're chasing us. And then we are a spirited bunch. But, no, I would... Stalingrad, Hastings, and man... There's just so many, like history-defining, world-changing moments.
Yeah.
The Battle of the Ice would be really cool.
What was that?
A bunch of heavily armored Germanic knights were about to just murder church some villagers. I mean, they're coming on hard charging, full armor, and then they fall through the ice. The the Polish Hussars, the Winged Knights.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them.
Cool.
Yeah.
If you could speak, read, and write in any language other than English, which one would it be? Mandarin. Not just because there's a lot of people that speak it, but because that would make it a lot easier for me to finish learning to speak, read, and write Japanese, because the kanji tend to be very similar in meaning to their Chinese, counterpart. There's sometimes when they've been changed, and of course not all of the Chinese characters are used in Japanese, but kanji are a bitch, and I'll take the heads up. But even then, Japanese would be easier to learn than fucking Mandarin. And there's a lot of Chinese people.
I would take the language MAM. M-A-M. It's a Mayan language out of Guatemala. As of 2002, there were less than 500,000 speakers. That number has grown considerably. We have some here in town, but my level of education combined with a fluency in a language that rare, I would make all the money as an interpreter.
Another option. Linear A. It's a language that archaeologists have found on Crete, and they found Linear A and Linear B. They've decoded Linear B and managed to make sense of it, and it's given them a lot of information about the Minoans.
Right.
Linear A, however, has still completely baffled everyone. And if you could decode Linear A, you could write your own tenure papers at whatever history department or archaeology department you wanted.
Probably linguistics. But that's a good one.
That'd help.
But yeah. Oh, wait. Now, when you say language, what's that computer programming language that banks use?
COBOL.
That one. I want that one.
Yeah, if you're fluent in COBOL, there's almost nobody who's a master of it anymore. A lot of banking software runs on it, and banks are not interested in updating to a modern language. So if you can do that, you got you a job.
There you go. It's COBOL.
All right. If you had a harem again,
what is it with you fuckers in harems?
Of 5 female bodyguards, who would you choose and why? Have to be able to protect you as a bodyguard. Have to be people, so no cyborgs, cartoon characters, or robots. But half animal women and demigods are okay. Now...
But no full animals or gods.
Now,
so, wait a minute. You mean I can't have Coco the gorilla as my main thug?
You can't have cartoon characters, but you can have demigods?
You can have half-animal women? Where do you find half-animal women that aren't cartoons?
Banter guy, you did not think this through. I am upset with you. I am disappointed.
Unacceptable!
1,000 years dungeon!
No trial! Now, you know what it is? Banter Guy is working hard to produce questions, and like anything else, there'll be some that don't really...
You're gonna turn out some crap eventually.
But whoever that chick MMA fighter is that's been so popular lately, and Shawn Johnson are two of mine.
Who?
She's a gymnast.
Oh.
And she has got an ass that will not stop. It cannot stop. It doesn't even know how to stop.
Can I have Brienne of Tarth?
Let me see here.
Not a cyborg.
Cyborgs, cartoon characters, or robots. Yeah, I reckon you can.
Okay.
Shit!
Can I have Wonder Woman?
Cartoon. Sorry,
comic book character. Has been portrayed live action as well.
I'm sorry, she's been portrayed as a cartoon character. Unavailable.
There have been cartoons of Brienne of Tarth. If I drew a doodle of your gymnast right now, are you fucked because it's a cartoon?
But again, your argument that Wonder Woman started out as a comic book character makes her a cartoon. Cartoon comes from the French word for the sketch before a painting. Comic books are explicitly cartoons.
Squinting at you, but you took a class in this. So
$4.99, sir. No, not Wonder Woman, but you know who I will take? Since you get Brienne of Tarth for my other three? Three of the Sand Snakes. The female hit squad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking them too.
Yep.
So that was with 4 Game of Thronesers.
Well, there's 5 Sand Snakes.
Well, I'm only taking 3 because I'm leaving myself with 1. Give me the best. Give me the best female IDF highest fucking body count agent you can.
Wouldn't you want Mossad?
No.
She's your bodyguard, not a frontline soldier. You want somebody more subtle.
I don't know. Mossads are kind of scary.
Yes, they are.
I don't want to be scared by my own bodyguard.
Yes, but remember, Mossad are trained as bodyguards.
I'll take a Mossad agent then. But I want the best! And also, harem of bodyguards.
Are we fucking them? If so, that's why I chose Sean Johnson.
That's why I chose Brienne of Tarth. Fuck you. Everybody's hot to someone.
Pretty sure she'd be fucking you. She's got a piece of wood she keeps somewhere. All right. 10. If you had to choose a girlfriend, friend, and enemy from these 3 mythical creatures... Oh, my God. I can't even do it.
It's like Fuck, Marry, Kill, but weirder.
I love that game. But okay, so girlfriend, friend, and enemy. From a ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf. And he's using the film Underworld as a point of reference for the vampire and the werewolf.
Huh.
Well, depends on which Underworld movie.
I'm going to take ghost girlfriend, werewolf friend, vampire enemy.
I am going to take vampire girlfriend, ghost friend, and werewolf enemy. I ain't fucking a werewolf. I like my lady shaved.
But you want the werewolf as an enemy? That's a big nasty motherfucker coming to kick your ass.
That's why I've got my girlfriend there, and I will let her fight my battles.
Well, I'm letting my friend fight my battles, but I'm voting werewolf over vampire in a straight-up fight.
If you've seen Underworld, you'll remember that the lady vampire kills countless werewolves.
She's also the main character, so...
Yeah. Yeah, she is. And beats wholesale ass.
The main character always gets to do whatever they want.
And the ghost friend, I'm thinking Sentry. It's, hey, buddy, keep watch. I'm going to go rail this undead chick.
I just think it'd be interesting to sleep with a ghost. Immaterial hand job. That'd be awesome.
You wouldn't know what's happening!
Just said they can interact with you. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. If you had to be transported 200 years in the past or the future and live the rest of your life from there, which would you choose and why? Future. Past is full of fucking cholera and polio and shit. No! Get bent! I want modern science benefits. Hell, in 200 years, there might be clinical immortality. Let me get some of that shit.
That's one of the things that always pisses me off, and I only find it in, like, journeyman history folk, talking about what era of the past they just wish they could live in. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to live in any time before the vaccine for polio. You can go fuck yourself.
If I had to pick which part of the past to live in, it'd be 1 millisecond to go.
Yeah. Yesterday would be great, thanks.
Well, okay. I'll go back a couple of weeks so I can manipulate the stock market a little.
Right. No, you know what? Give me starting off in the 90s so I can write Harry Potter and stop 9/11.
All righty, Brian Griffin.
It's a solid plan.
If you had $250 million to make a movie about whatever you wanted or a book into a movie, what kind of film would you make? What book would you have made into a movie?
Harry Turtledove has a lot of solid stuff to be made into a movie. And I guess if it's a financial success, you get a sequel. So I would choose one of his Southern Victory series. Probably not How Few Remain, because it wouldn't translate well to cinematic. I would go a little later into the series, A, so I could cash in on prequels, and B, so that I could have more well-developed sides to the fight. I'm thinking... No, not how... Maybe Blood and Iron? No, that's a little late into it, but... One of the Southern Victory series, The Great War, I suppose. I would pick his book called The Great War. It's about World War I fought between the Confederacy and the Union.
All right. I'm going with one of Neil Stephenson's books. Snow Crash is the obvious one that comes to mind. I think that'd be good. Anathem I really liked, but it's so slow I don't think it would ever make it as a movie. And it'd have to be like 9 hours long. So would Ream D, which is my absolute favorite book he's ever done. So I think I would either go with Yeah, I'm either going to go with Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash or Daniel Suarez's Demon, or Diamond, however you want to pronounce it. I was telling you about this one the other day. It's
This morning.
Yeah, it's about a software developer, one of these Bill Gates, Steve Jobs types, who for the last several years of his life went all recluse, and he wrote this. I don't want to spoil too much, but he wrote this demon, using the software term, that basically got into every pervasive part of first world society and started rewriting it from the ground up. And it went really, really cool. There's also a sequel to that book called Freedom TM, which is not as good as Demon, but still really entertaining and presents some interesting ideas for a sort of digital anarcho-utopia. And I'm generally not big on any sort of anarcho anything, because I think people are too innately corrupt for it to ever work outside of a very, very small group. I think the monkey number is the limit for what an anarchist commune can make. I think it's like 37, something like that. That's the number of people that you can keep in your mind as people. Anything beyond that are just that group.
Now, the problem with that is, if it is 37, is you require 42 people to have enough breeding pairs to have a stable population.
Yeah, I know it's a low number.
But it's not enough. I would require 42 just for the breeding pairs.
Well, it's nice that you require that. That's just what the human brain accepts.
Which is fine, but I'm saying I would say that number's too low. You need to raise it by 5. And there are 5 people that you just don't really empathize with.
But at that point, you have the ability for the anarcho-syndicalist commune to break down. I think the best you can get in a situation like that is for occasionally an outsider to come in. And for people to be allowed to leave, as they would be. I think that's pretty much all you can do. But yeah, anything over like 80, 90 people, anarchy's just going to fall apart. Even that much is so pushing it, you're not. No, people are going to start forming groups and dividing and plotting against one another. Someone will accumulate power and will use it. It's just human nature.
But there you go. So that is our special hour-long podcast.
Holy crap, guys.
Thanks for the questions. Keep them coming. It is better to have too many than not enough.
Yep. Like, comment, subscribe. We've got a Facebook. We've got a Snapchat. We've got an Instagram. We've got a Twitter. Come and follow us.
We've got a fucking website. We have a website. Use it.
Yeah, there's tinplated.com/forum. Honestly, it's not real active. We got to put something on there. We just don't know what?
We would like for the forums to be more active than they are. Are
we going to do that thing on the last Friday with the thing I'm pointing at?
I think we are.
We're going to do a live stream of Payday 2 on the last Friday of this month. That's August 29th. We haven't picked a time yet. We'll give you the announcement for that on the next podcast. And I have a copy of Payday 2 sitting in my Steam inventory. We will be giving it away to people watching the live stream. If you want to know how to enter the giveaway, watch the live stream. I will have the giveaway instructions scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Do what they say, and we'll randomly select a winner.
There you go.
So tune in then, and, like, comment, subscribe, social media, the likes and the questions and everything, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.